All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Melissa here. Hey, you know what? I cut the top of my hair. Save some money. Do your hair yourself. So I had, it's not real short. I mean, it's not like I had, like some people do, have a mental breakdown or something and cut all their hair off. But anyways, yeah, cut your hair yourself. It saves money. My hair is super thick. I still have a lot of hair in the back, a lot of hair down. Um, when it gets all one length and it's all like the same length as over here, it gets really heavy for me. So cut your hair, ladies, yourself if you can. Save some money. It doesn't matter if it's crooked or it's not perfect. Usually only you can tell, right? So, anyways, what do I want to talk about today? Okay, so if you look at my community channel, I was on Matt Walsh's post last night in the comment section, and he does this talk about this woman who went to another country. She thought to meet a guy. Don't do dating apps, guys. Don't do them. They're scams. Any man who asks you for money, scam, right? I have another post too from Steven Speaks, and he talks about the same thing. Men are the ones who are supposed to pay for things. Don't, he mostly talks about a man respecting you. Make sure a man respects you. And if he doesn't, he says let him go, right? Men should uplift their wives, cherish them, and care for them. So he's talking about the dating realm though, but I mean, it does affect your relationships too. So Matt Welch has this woman who met this guy online, thought he was good looking, went to Paris across country, to Paris to meet him. And she was uncomfortable. And instead of saying how she felt, she slept with the guy. She slept with him and now she has an STD. So ladies, it's our responsibility to tell men when we're uncomfortable and when to set where to set boundaries. And if we are not clear with our boundaries, which I have not always been clear, and that's on me, that's my fault, we are giving a double message to guys, right? So we want to be very clear where our boundaries are. I know for me, and this is part of where I talk about abortion, it is very difficult, I think, and it's almost like a rape, abortion. When you've had people at your most intimate level force abortion on you, right? I'm someone who's like, I need my space. I need my space. And my space is usually pretty big. I just need a lot of space to, not just physical space, which I have not always related that to people. And again, that's my fault. But I need space to move. I'm very physical. I'm very hands-on. I need space to move. I need space to think. I am somebody who really enjoys my space. And even yesterday when a boss tapped on my shoulder, I mean, I do not like that kind of stuff. Or, somebody, I'm not a big hugger. I'm just not, to a point, but not like real huggy type of person. With people I know, yeah. So I had left a message, I had left a comment on there that said, this is why we have so many abortions. And someone said, someone's like, what? And the reason why is Matt Walsh was talking about how men don't know how to lead. So we're in this time right now of feminism where women are like, I'm going to run the show. I'm going to do it my way. And yet that man should have been the one to say, hey, if you're uncomfortable or whatever, or look, I don't really know you very well. We really shouldn't be doing this. Let me get you an airplane ticket and get you back. Because now she's complaining about it, right? She's like, I slept with him and I have an STD. So, it is the men who are supposed to be leading. And my comment was, This is why we have so many abortions, and the reason why is because men will not take the lead. Men are responsible, guys, ladies, for all of it. They are responsible for loving, women, loving their wives, loving, leading, protecting, providing. They're responsible for everything. And we as women should be receiving. And Stephen spoke about this. Stephen speaks. We should have an energy of receiving. But some women are more energetic, as I am, than other women. Very energetic. So we want to be able to get a lot done. It's very important to get a lot done as a wife, where you are undergirding your husband, and you are, receiving from him. He should be able to pour back into you, but you also should be able to do a lot to benefit your husband. So you've got that. You've got the wife relationship. And then as a mother, you have a lot to do. I mean, it's not just, just let's, just really just hang out and watch TV. Let the TV raise my kid. No, you've got a lot to do as a Christian mom. You've got a lot of teaching. You've got very little time to instill a lot into your children. Very short time to do that. Then you've got the family unit, right? Your own family unit. Then you've got all your work with your homemaking skills. And then socially, especially if you're going to homeschool, you're going to be needing more time to be home. Homeschooling, the word home, you're usually home when you homeschool. So that takes a lot of time. And as far as socially, it's usually tempered by your husband, and like it was Stephen Speaks said, some men do not mind their wives going out with the girls, and some men do. Some men are like, no, you're just going to get in trouble. And I would think this is when like they're first married or dating or something, not when you're a mom. You don't have time for that when you're a mom. But he said, let every man decide for themselves. He said, me personally, I don't care. I'm like, yeah, go with the girls, go on vacation, So you really have to temper things socially to your husband. So if your husband, is more antisocial or has small circles, you would need to honor that. So for me, with my husband, we had talked to a pastor before, and he had said, Melissa, he said, basically, Ben is the one leading with his family. It's not on you. And I think that is very freeing, because it is the man's job to lead in every single way, and of course you have your voice and you have your opinions and you have the freedom to do some things how you want, but you're working with your husband and you're coming under him and saying, and you're influencing him, and you are encouraging him. You are his best friend. You are, using all your skills to look out for his best too. So if he's a man who's like, no, we're not really going to go see family much, or yes, I want to go see my family a lot, you as a wife and him would have to talk about this and be like, well, and if you feel like, no, I've got so much responsibility here, I need my space, go by yourself. Or if you're like, well, I don't really feel honored when I go over there. They're kind of tolerating me. They're not really getting to know me for me. They're using me for the kids, or to be grandparents, or to look good, or whatever. I think he would need to honor that, and he would need to understand how you feel. So your decisions socially, really is something that you have to decide together. And then she has her own family, right? So it's not just about his family. She has her own family. So depending on those relationships, is she being respected? Is she being supported? Because she has a huge job, huge. And so there's all these decisions that need to be made. And my point is, like Matt Walsh says, this woman, this feminist, she goes into a situation, wanting, to do her own thing with a guy. He doesn't take the lead. And then she's complaining she has a STD. And she's like, I just didn't, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to, she didn't want to rock the boat with him. But yet now she's got this to deal with. So my point is, ladies, you do want to develop yourself enough that you know what you want, right? Don't get into a situation where you're like, oh, well, it's the whole feminist thing, oh, he should take the lead and he's not, so I'm taking the lead now, but now I'm blaming him. So we can see that feminism is just a facade. It's not the real thing. I think every single woman that I know, even coming out of some feminism myself growing up, wants the man to take the lead. She wants that. And if he doesn't take the lead, even in a marriage, if he doesn't take it, she's left like, what am I supposed to do now? He's not taking the lead, so then I have to take it myself. I've seen women say, he wouldn't mow the lawn, so I had to go mow the lawn myself. This puts an extra burden on women that we don't need. We need men who definitely, are manly, are strong. And I really like listening to J.D. Vance because when you look at his interviews, he shoots every feminist down in the news world. These are women coming at him and saying, well, didn't you say this and didn't you say that? And he will be like, let me give you clarity and tell you exactly what I said. Let me put this in context for you. This is what I said. And they can't beat the guy. And I really like, that he can communicate very directly. And he's not going off, doing the same thing they do to him. He's not like, just trashing them like they're trying to do to him. This used to happen with Jesus. They used to try to trip him up, and this is what they're doing to J.D. Vance. So he's very secure, you can tell, in his masculinity. Trump has done a good job picking someone like him who was an attorney and can speak with the upper class, and he can also speak to the I don't want to say lower class people, but the people who have struggled because he's been there with his family background. So, yeah. So what the whole point of this video is feminism is not the real thing. It's not the real deal. And we really need to get back to this, ladies. We really need to get back to looking for men who want to lead, protect, provide, and love. And how does a man lead? He leads like Christ, right? He loves his wife. Christ loved the church so much he died for us. Any man who's willing to die for you, deserves your allegiance, deserves some loyalty. So that is usually how it happens. And scripture tells men, husbands, to love their wives, right? To love them. So that is how a man leads. It's through sacrifice. It's through submission, because we're all submitting to one another. It's through his masculinity, assertiveness, and protection, and just knowing himself well enough to be like, this is how I feel, and this is the direction I want to go, and I am considering how you feel, but this is really where I want to go. And so I think we can follow a man's lead who is going in the right direction. In Peter, it talks about in the Bible, when a man, unless it's like really wrong, unless a man is leading the wrong way, then you can't follow him. But if he's, it may be he's made a decision to do something that you don't really care for, but it's not a big issue. So you can let it go and just be like, you know what, this is the way he's leading. I don't think it's right. I don't agree, but I am going to submit or let him, you know, I'm going to trust his judgment. And many times there were things that I did not see as a woman that my husband did make decisions about that were 100% correct. And even a doctor had said, you know, when he had cancer, you know, he said, you made the right decision. This is a doctor. He's like, I didn't want to do the surgery. I thought it was the wrong decision. You made the right decision. So, for the most part in my marriage, my husband had made very good decisions for the most part. Like, I mean, there was some stuff he shouldn't have done, but for the most part, he did make good decisions. So, you know, as women, we can't always see what men can see. We just can't. And we need to give that to men, that they know things that we don't know. And we need to be able to, you know, submit to them and support them in ways that are meaningful to them, in ways that lift them up and encourage them and build their confidence, right? I'm talking about normal, healthy marriage. And he should respect his wife. He should, because she's very important to him. And they go hand in hand, you know, submitting to one another in the fear of Christ. So feminism just doesn't really have a place, ladies. It does not have a place in the single life, and it doesn't have a place in the marriage life. Okay, thanks for joining me this morning.